I guess that's my cue. Okay, it's 5:30. We're going to get started. Welcome everybody to the regular city council meeting of January 13th, 2025. With that, I'd ask the city clerk to please call the roll.
Counselor Long,
Present.
Counselor Ring, Counselor McLaughlin, not on Zoom, Counselor Runyon,
Present.
Counselor Randall,
Present.
and Counselor Richardson is also absent. Mayor Mays.
Oh, I'm here too. Are Richardson and they're not here? Okay. We do expect Counselors Richardson and McLaughlin to join us on Zoom pretty soon, I would expect. So, okay. Item 3 is the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everybody please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're going to be moving approval of the agenda up. So we do have two changes. I'd like to move approval of the agenda up ahead of oaths of office and item 6 presentations. And also we have a resolution to add to the consent agenda, 10E, that would be related to one of my appointments to the Urban Renewal Board. So with that, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
I'll make a motion to approve as amended.
I'll second it.
Been moved by Counselor Runyon and seconded by Counselor Randall to approve the agenda as amended. And now we have presentations. Tonight is kind of a special meeting because we have one of our counselors.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes.
maybe I missed it. Was there a vote on that motion? Was it moved and seconded? Was there a vote?
Was there? Okay, we got to back up. All those in favor of the motion to approve the amended agenda, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Aye. McLaughlin, aye.
Okay, Counselors Richardson and McLaughlin has joined us. Okay, so that motion passes. Thank you for reminding me. Okay, now we will have a presentation to our outgoing counselor, Darcy Long. Darcy has been a counselor now for, is it 8 years or 8 years? And it's been really a pleasure to work with her. I think when you think of certain words to describe Darcy, the word dedicated comes to mind. I think she's been very dedicated not only to the city of the Dalles, but also to our community with her activities and other ventures. I think she's very passionate. I think that's another word that comes to mind. Passionate about her beliefs and her stances on certain issues. And she always came prepared to a meeting, very thorough, and really did her homework. And it's been a pleasure to serve with you. I appreciate your service not only on the city council, but also on sister cities and the Urban Renewal Board. She's taken a real leadership role on urban renewal, being the chair for several years, and also on the community outreach team where I served with her on that. And she did a great job with the community outreach team. So with that, I'd like you to come forward and accept a small token of our esteem. It's an piece of artwork with the historic City Hall. And I'd like to give it to you and thank you for your service. Thank you.
Yeah. Appreciate that. Oh, yeah. My honor to serve my hometown as city councilor. And I feel like I'm leaving everything in great hands. I've enjoyed working with everybody on council, and I'm excited for Ben Ring to step up into my place. And hopefully sometime in the not too distant future, not that I'm rooting for anyone else to lose an election. So if someone retires, I'd like to see some more women and maybe even another female mayor, because we've only had one in the whole history of the Dalles. So
You don't want that female mayor right now, right?
no,
Okay.
I said I wasn't rooting for anybody to lose an election.
Thank you, Darcy. Okay, with that, we're going to give the oaths of office to 3 counselors who just got elected in November. So I'd ask Counselor-elect Ben Ring to come forward, and Counselor Dan Richardson, who's on Zoom, and Rod. No, is it Rod? Yeah, Counselor Rod Runyon. You're going to do them one at a time, right? Okay.
I, Benjamin Ring,
So
do solemnly swear
that I will Constitution
that I will support the Constitution
and laws of the United States of America
and laws of the United States of America and of the state of Oregon, Charter and ordinances of the city of the Dalles.
I will
I will, to the best of my ability, faithfully and honestly, the duties of counselor position
No.
of the city of the Dalles. There, during my continuance.
Good times. Yeah.
I, Rod Runyon,
Rod Runyon,
solemnly swear
I solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution,
the Constitution
laws of the United States of America,
of the States of America,
the state of Oregon,
of the state of Oregon,
the charter
charter and ordinances
of the city of Dalles,
of the city of the Dalles.
that I will,
I will,
best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and honestly,
faithfully and honestly,
perform the duties of
perform the duties of
Counselor Position Number 5
Councilor Position Number 5. City of the Dalles.
during my continuance therein.
Continuing what?
Continuance therein.
Therein.
Ready? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I, Dan Richardson,
I, Dan Richardson,
solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution,
that I will support the Constitution
laws of the United States of America,
and the laws of the United States of America
and of the state of Oregon,
and of the state of Oregon,
and the charter and ordinances,
and of the charter and ordinances
of the city of the Dalles,
of the city of the Dalles,
and that I will,
and that I will,
to the best of my ability,
to the best of my ability,
faithfully and honestly,
faithfully and honestly,
perform the duties,
perform the duties
Counselor Position Number 4,
of Counselor Position Number 4
the city of the Dalles,
of the city of the Dalles
during my continuance therein.
during my continuance therein.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, moving right along. Congratulations to our three, they're not new city councilors except for Ben. So congratulations. I know I'm speak for everyone when I say that we're looking forward to working together. Okay, item 7 is audience participation. During this portion of the meeting, anyone may speak on any subject which does not later appear on the agenda. Up to 3 minutes per person will be allowed. Citizens are encouraged to ask questions with the understanding that the city can either answer that question tonight or refer the question to the appropriate staff member who will get back to you within a reasonable amount of time. If a response by the city is requested, the speaker will be referred to the city manager for further action. The issue may appear on a future meeting agenda for city council consideration. We have 3 people that are signed up. First, Leah Hall. Please come forward and state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, council members. Can you, okay? My name is Leah Hall, and I'm here on behalf of Columbia Gorge Food Bank, the regional food bank serving Wasco, Hood River, and Sherman counties. We connect statewide food resources to our local network of community pantries and partners. Thank you for this opportunity to share an update on the work we're doing in the Dalles and throughout the Gorge. In 2024, through our 40 community partners and pantries, we had over 77,000 individual visits. That's about 28,635 household visits across the 3 counties, with 35,673 visits, 46% of all of our network visits directly in the city of the Dalles. Pantries in the Dalles that receive food from us include Salvation Army, Windy River Gleaners, St. Vincent de Paul, Watonka Pantry, and Chinook Campus Pantry at Columbia Gorge Community College. That's thousands of visits from individuals and families seeking food support during challenging times. In January 2023, we moved from a 2,000 square foot facility to our current 12,000 square foot warehouse. This larger space allows us to distribute food more efficiently throughout the gorge. However, a warehouse of this size comes with ongoing operating costs. From utilities to maintenance, the expenses add up. Our annual operating expenses are around $1 million. These funds cover everything from staffing and utilities to the transportation and distribution of food. This work is made possible by our 7 dedicated staff members, all local Gorge residents, and a team of committed volunteers. We see the need in our area growing, particularly among children, seniors on fixed incomes, single parents, caregivers, and immigrant and migrant populations. These groups face unique challenges in accessing nourishing food, whether due to limited financial resources, transportation barriers, or other social determinants of health. As the cost of living continues to rise, the demand for food assistance has grown significantly, and we're committed to meeting this need. In addition to moving and distributing food throughout the gorge, our facility provides the space for a number of our partners to do their work. This includes a weekly pantry run by the Windy River Gleaners that provides foods to individuals and families in need. We also host the Community Backpack Program, which ensures that North Wasco County School District youth have access to food over the weekends when school meals are unavailable. As a regional food bank, our facility is also a staging and response location for emergency resources such as water, blankets, and food. In 2024, we responded to requests for water to the Larch Creek and Microwave Tower fires, as well as town pump emergencies in Shannico and Antelope. We also distributed over 1,400 blankets for unhoused community members and supported multiple smaller scale emergency requests for food during fire and winter events. Tonight,
How much more have you?
like 2 sentences.
What, 2 sentences?
sentences.
All right. It's a food bank, so.
Tonight, I have no ask other than to extend an invitation to all of you to visit and tour the warehouse, which makes our work possible. It's a chance to see firsthand the impact we're making and how we're working to meet the growing needs of our community. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Hall? Council Runyon?
You're still talking about the warehouses, one out on Lake Port of the Dalles we put together years ago. Is there a facility in Hood River that another warehouse, another building you deliver to? You say you're
Yeah.
taking food down there as well?
Yeah, we delivered over 40 different community partners and pantries.
Is there any record of the number of veterans that you serve throughout the year? Do you keep track of anything like that?
I don't know the veterans off the top of my head. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I just want to thank Mr. Mayor, if I may briefly.
Oh, Councilor Richardson.
Thank you. I just want to thank Leah, Ms. Hall, for coming out tonight and sharing some of those numbers with us about this important work. And I would encourage my fellow councilors, if you haven't had an opportunity to go out and take a tour and a visit, to go do that.
It's quite a nice facility you got out there on the port area. That's it.
Absolutely.
Did I miss your, what's your position with the food bank?
I'm the community philanthropy manager.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. Next is Aaron Willis.
Good evening, counselors. Good evening, Mayor. You say you needed my address?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or no, we don't do that
No,
anymore.
we don't need that.
You do live in the Dalles, though. I know.
I live in the Dalles. So tonight I have a question on behalf of the River City Saloon, a new business that's coming to downtown the Dalles, on Washington and Third, just on the back side building. So they are preparing to open, hopefully on Valentine's Day on February 14th. And I've been helping them just to kind of get together some resources, like opening in the gorge in the middle of winter, new business. it's going to be a challenge. So I wanted to come tonight just to ask about your suggestions, what resources you have. Like I know there's the Chamber of Commerce. I know there's also like a Main Street, the Dalles Main Street. But I remembered the Granada owner coming and suggesting like a grant for plants out front. And I thought maybe there might be some other opportunities. And I just wanted to say the River City Saloon is coming and get your suggestions as to how we might be successful opening in the middle of winter.
Well, you did mention the chamber already. I think that's a good
Yeah.
start. And the other one you mentioned was Main Street. I think joining Main Street would be a good idea. And I'm sure our city manager could give you some contact information of people to get a hold of. I'm sure you already had the contact for the chamber. Is that
I mean, I'm sure it's easy to find online. Yeah,
you might, I don't, they're coming in from Hood River. Is that right?
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that they're would be classified as a struggling or new business, but the Small Business Development Center up at the Columbia Gorge Community College is usually very helpful for startup businesses.
Okay.
Mr. Mayor, if I may suggest, Aaron, we have an economic development officer here at the city named Dan Spots. And I can rattle off some of the alphabet soup of agencies that we have that do various things. Now, if you are interested, but connecting with our economic development officer or myself, either after the meeting and we can get you a business card right up from the front desk here. We can go into detail about what you might be looking for, what you may need the most assistance with, and what agency may be most suitable for that.
Okay. Great. Dan Spots.
Correct.
SPATZ.
Not how I spelled it. Thank you. Anybody else? Brilliant, fun ideas? People he should know? I'll just plug while I'm here. When it does open, my band will be playing. So you're all invited. Okay, thank you.
Good luck. I know that you're moving into the farm stand building, like you said, where the city is and the owner of that they've worked very closely to make that business a success. So we're rooting for River City Saloon. Is that the name of it? Yeah, we're rooting for you. All right, thank you. Okay, next is Richard Wolf.
Hi, I'm Richard Wolf, the Dalles, Oregon. Class of 72. I love saying that. I don't come here scripted. Just come here to watch the clock right now. I'm going to try to explain this. I've been in the building trades for ever. Is there a building expert up here amongst you? Is there a building expert on staff anywhere in town? First Street is a jetty. I call it a jetty. Someone else calls it a levee. Got a lot of. Did my mic? Okay. It's in a dry well parking lot. Under that blacktop is rock, about this big round, specifically round rock, so that when you load product over it, it pushes the rocks to the outside of the walls and it strengthens the walls in case you have a railroad and a road and a trestle and a viaduct adjacent to it. And so we end up with no storm drain system on First Street or ever. We need a storm drain system on First Street about as much as we need one out there on the jetty at the marina. We can't grow trees in a jetty, and in a levee, they're supposed to be 14 feet away from the toe. We need someone in our building department that we don't have. I checked with engineering, and I checked with building department out of the county. And I don't think either one of them's want a tool bag. I'm very educated in this, and I am seeing 30s, late 30s, 1900s, 1930s, the codes were different with the mortar mix.
Mr. Wolf, you got 30 seconds.
Thank you. I seen that. And it's blowing out from between the brick. And we need some classes for brick striking right away. We need to address sidewalks that are caving in, that are hollow underneath. We need to address retaining walls for our roads. And we have two 1920 bridges, one at 6th Street and one at 15. Thank you. And I'll stop. They are very historic during the fish wheel time. And my main thing is that I would ask somebody from the building department, because I've been working free and I'm retired, but we need someone in a building department, and I have contractor friends that may be available to you.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you have any comments? Okay, item 8 is city manager's report. Mr. Klebs.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. A few items as usual for you. I made an appearance on my monthly appearance on KODL to start the new year off right. City departments have begun preparation for the upcoming city budget process. We received the final version of the goal document from our consultant, Sarah Singer Wilson's firm just today. And so we'll be doing some final red lines on that document and expect to have that back to you in time for the January 27th meeting for consideration and adoption. I also want to let the council know that I've been conducting outreach to Union Pacific due to some community concerns and instances that I've observed personally myself with some of the train stoppages that we've been seeing on specifically Union and 1st Street over by the Lewis and Clark Park, but also those stoppages address the crossing at Madison and at Times Weber. There's been numerous reports and my own observations where trains have been stopped on that crossing for extended periods of time. I've observed individuals crossing through the trains during those stoppages, which is something I highly advise against. And I've been communicating that to representatives at the Union Pacific line, and we're trying to work on resolving that issue. So this is kind of an ongoing item I just wanted to highlight for council that is on my radar. It's kind of consistent follow-up has been my mantra there. When it comes to that, I would encourage anybody in the audience or individuals watching this video, if you do observe those train stoppages, there is signage and kind of a utility shack at each crossing. It lists the crossing number and a contact number you can call to report such a stoppage. And I would encourage everybody to do that whenever you see an instance there. So if you're stuck there in your car, maybe take a moment and convey that information. That would be helpful to some of the city's efforts. The Federal Street Plaza Ad Hoc Committee will meet again this Wednesday and renew our efforts for this year. And if you haven't seen it already, but I wanted to in particularly note the success of the spay and neuter program that the city has in partnership with Columbia Gorge Humane Society. They've really done a tremendous job to get that program off on the right start. And they've spayed or neutered 92 animals. And if you take a general estimate of 1 or 2 litters a year, 5 puppies or 5 kittens, it could be roughly about 1,000 animals that program has worked on. And so that's a successful program. It's a new one that was funded through the City Council local grants and for nonprofits and local agencies. And it was exciting to see that result. And that's my report.
Thank you. Item 9 is city council reports. We'll start with Councilor McLaughlin.
I'm right here, Mayor. Thank you. I have no report for this meeting, but I'll be prepared for the next city council meeting to report.
Thank you. Councilor Richardson.
Thank you, Mayor Mays. Just briefly, in the last week, I've had 3 conversations of note or worth noting. One with our city manager about city affairs, a separate one with our city attorney, and took opportunity to meet and have conversation at our new downtown grocery store with one of the co-owners there. And I know they are, and we all are looking forward to a new downtown business opening up perhaps as early as Valentine's Day there. And I guess I would, for what it's worth, encourage people to cast their minds back to 4 years ago for just a moment. As you go about your business, 4 years ago when I was first sworn in, and we were in a considerably different spot, both with regard to sort of general circumstances, COVID and lockdowns, and specifically with downtown, the conditions downtown, where there are many empty buildings and concerns about how we would weather this or come out of it. And it's nice to see the difference 4 years and a bit of uptick makes for us.
Thank you. Counselor Runyon.
Couple of citizen meetings on local subjects around the community. Met with the county administrator in the last week, and met with Councilor Tim McLaughlin this morning to discuss committee assignments, and a brief meeting with our city manager earlier this evening. And being reelected today, I recall that it's been 6 years since I've been with the city. 8 years elected to the county commission, and before that, 8 years elected to the Port of the Dalles. So I've just finished 22 years of elected office, and I signed up for another 4. Interesting. My wife thought it was interesting anyway. Anyway, that's all I've got.
Okay, well, we're glad to have you aboard, that's for sure.
Mayor Mays, may I
Yes.
interject? Councilor Runyon, not to put you on the spot, but did you want to share an update about the Veteran Service Office?
What?
The Veteran Service Office relocation
Oh,
for awareness?
good news, I hope, for the Veterans Museum, of which I'm the chair of the Columbia Gorge Veterans Committee, and the Veterans Museum, which is currently housed on the ground floor of City Hall. We've put in a bid for that building. If it ever becomes empty, it's at the foot of Federal Street. It's currently the Veteran Service Office. That has now been relocated to the new county building on 3rd Street. And the county is going forward with cleaning and other things, and the city will take a look at it for renovations that are needed and so forth. But my hope is that we are able to move the Veterans Museum into that building, and Federal Street will eventually become a city plaza. And I think the museum would be a great asset to the center area of downtown. So that's what I know in a very biased way.
That's very helpful, and I think the relocation of the Veteran Service Office was a little sudden. So we're just trying to get that information out there that those offices are now on 3rd and Federal at the county's new administrative building.
Okay, thanks for that update. Counselor Randall.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Nothing to report.
Counselor Ring.
Thank you, Mayor. This will be short because it's my first meeting, but the last couple of weeks I've been working with our city clerk and other city staff on onboarding and getting to know, meeting with some of the department heads and whatnot. And then going into December after the election, the League of Oregon Cities training for new electeds was at the Dalles Readiness Center, and I think was immensely valuable. So.
Okay, the only thing I have to report on is I've had several conversations with city councilors, and I know the city clerk has been in contact with a couple about being council liaisons with the different commissions and committees. And this is not set in stone yet, but as of right now, I have Councilor McLaughlin serving on the airport board and community outreach, Councilor Runyon, urban renewal and LIPSIC, Councilor Randall, Q Life, historic landmarks and the household hazardous waste, Councilor Richardson, urban renewal and traffic safety, and Councilor Richardson, I would like to appoint you to, it's going to be, my understanding is a community-wide housing committee will be formed, and I'd like you to serve on that as the city's representative. Counselor Richardson also serves on the aforementioned Federal Street Plaza Committee. That's an ad hoc committee. And Counselor Ring, Sister Cities and Urban Renewal, and he also serves on the ad hoc Federal Street Plaza. If there's any comments or questions, I would ask that you get a hold of me after the meeting. Thank you all for your cooperation. Okay, moving right along, the consent agenda. Items of a routine and non-controversial nature are placed on the consent agenda to allow the city council to spend its time and energy on the more important items and issues. Any counselor may request an item be pulled from the consent agenda and be considered separately. Items pulled from the consent agenda will be placed on the agenda at the end of the action items section. Tonight, we have 5 items. We did add one as part of the amendment to the agenda. First is we have approval of the December 9th City Council meeting minutes. Second, approval of the December 16th Special City Council meeting minutes. Third is a resolution assessing property for the cost of nuisance abatement. Fourth is a resolution concurring with my appointment of Randy Cole to the Traffic Safety Committee. And finally, a resolution concurring with my appointment of Darcy Long to the Urban Renewal Agency. Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Councilor Randall and seconded by Councilor Runyon to approve the consent agenda. Is there any questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Next, we have a public hearing. There it is. This is a public hearing regarding resolution adopting a supplemental budget, making appropriations and authorizing expenditures from and within the city's adopted budget. Now is the time scheduled for a public hearing to receive testimony regarding a proposed supplemental budget for the 2024-25 fiscal year for various funds of the City of the Dalles adopted budget. First, a staff report by Angie Wilson, our finance director, will be presented. Following the staff report, I will ask those persons who wish to present testimony concerning the proposed supplemental budget to come to the microphone, state your name and address for the record, and present your testimony. All speakers are requested to be specific in their presentations and to focus their remarks upon the relevant issues raised by the proposed supplemental budget for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Councilors may ask questions to any speaker at any time. Each speaker will be allowed 3 minutes for their presentation. Are any questions on the part of the City Council? Okay, with that, the public hearing is now open. Our Finance Director, Ms. Angie Wilson, will now present her staff report.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor, members of council. You have before you my agenda staff report for Resolution 25-001 for adopting a supplemental budget for the fiscal year of 2024-25, making appropriations and authorizing expenditures from and within the various funds of the City of the Dalles adopted budget. The supplemental budget adds funds to the existing budget, and a public hearing is required for any supplemental budget that changes a fund by more than 10%. The proposed supplemental budget is more than 10% of the operating budget of the affected fund, so a public hearing is required this evening. The supplemental budget was added into the Columbia Gorge News on Wednesday, January 1st, and unfortunately there was a small scrivener's error in the posting, but it was made in good effort. And so the supplemental budget per ORS 294.451 is fine, and the supplemental budget can continue on. The supplemental budget is mainly it is for all of the various public works funds. And this is a very long staff report this evening. And I think in main parts of all the beginning fund balances, additional revenue coming in are carryovers from the previous year of projects that were not able to get completed due to staffing or just running out of time. There are two funds, the Transportation System Reserve Fund and the Water Capital Reserve Fund, that have more than just transfers. Those contain grants and loans. And I will give you guys, I have the Public Works Director here with me this evening to help me out to be able to answer some questions that you may have regarding some of the projects that we're asking to bring into the 24-25 budget. Does anyone have any questions?
Any questions for Ms. Wilson? Council Runyon?
Just clarification for others who may have read the report the way I did. When it says additional funding, it's really not additional new money being found. It was money that was allocated for projects that either did not get completed or are yet to be done and now need to be moved into the budget as they are currently setting. So it's not new money necessarily.
Yeah, it's just the after the audited financial statements came out, that was the ending fund balance was higher than what we actually anticipated due to exactly what you were saying.
I understand.
Councilor Runyon, if I might, that's true for nearly all the money that's identified in this supplemental, but there are a few instances that additional revenues were received. For example, the water fund, we received about $250,000 more than we thought we were going to for the year, just from our water utility revenues. And the same with the wastewater was about $125,000. So those are the exceptions to just rolling over money that was previously allocated for projects that didn't get done. So just so you're aware and full disclosure on that.
The only reason I brought it up to begin with is because we just went through the entire wastewater management plan and special team doing all the review and research. And we thought we were at the end of the numbers and all of a sudden new numbers came out. So I'm just hoping it was all taken into account.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Any other questions for the staff? Okay. Is there anyone in the audience or on Zoom who wish to testify on this matter? Please, if so, please come forward, state your name and address for the record. Is there anyone who would like to speak on these budget amendments? Last call. Okay. Let the record show that no one has come forward. Does the council feel it has enough information to make a decision? If so, the public testimony portion of this hearing is now closed. Everybody okay with moving ahead? Okay, now we'll have council discussion. Any other questions or for the staff or any comments?
I have one. Mr.
Councilor Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you, Dave and Angie. So this is essentially a sort of housekeeping on steroids, right? I mean, it's, as you say, it's money being moved forward, not new funds mostly. What makes us ready to take on this long list of items now? Or is it really more like we have to move the money forward whether we're ready for it or not?
I think the answer to your question about what makes us ready now, many of these are projects that were already underway, have already since been completed, but we thought they were going to be completed by June 30th last year, and they carried over into the current fiscal. So we have to just make that adjustment. That's the case with a number of projects like the West 2nd Street Joint Utility Project, the Dog River Pipeline Project, some things like that. What makes us ready for some of the other projects now? We previously anticipated undertaking the West 10th Street Safe Routes to Schools project last year. We're going to be bidding that project this spring. We have since awarded the contracts for the West 6th Street widening and the East 12th Street sidewalk. So, I mean, I guess we're in that position and we're undertaking these projects now. Just in some cases, 6 months later than we thought we were going to be.
Thanks. It's very helpful to have some of the dots connected there. Appreciate it.
Any other questions or comments? Would anybody like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, I'll move to adopt resolution number 25-001, adopting a supplemental budget for fiscal year 2024, 2025, making appropriations and authorizing expenditures within various funds of the Dalles adopted budget.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
It's been moved by Counselor Randall and seconded by Counselor Runyon to adopt a resolution adopting a supplemental budget for the 2024-25 fiscal year. Is there any more questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
McLaughlin, aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Stay.
I know. Oops.
Next, we have consideration of an award of wastewater facilities master plan contract. Mr. Anderson.
Thank you, Honorable Mayor and members of council. Oregon wastewater regulations require that public wastewater utilities develop 20-year master plans. This is a very similar conversation that we had 2 years ago for our water master plan. And as was referenced earlier, we just recently completed the update to our water master plan. Our wastewater plan was developed in 2013. We had a minor update to it, or an update to it in 2017. It's customary to update 20-year plans about every 10 years. Related to the 2013 plan, the portions of that plan that apply to the city's wastewater collection system are pretty much still valid and don't need to be revisited. However, there are a number of issues that are underway within the city that make it worthwhile to consider updating the plan for the wastewater treatment plant. And those include some ongoing operational challenges that we have with the treatment processes there. The fact that we have 2 new data centers under construction, which will impact both the volumes and the quality of the wastewater that's to be treated by the plant. And the fact that the city's permit, wastewater discharge permit, is currently up for renewal. We do have the update for the wastewater facilities master plan included in the current year's budget. We've talked a number of times in previous reports about the Oregon state requirements for using qualification-based selection methods for engineering contracts that are over $100,000 in value, and that proposal process has to be done without requesting information on pricing. We have to just receive the bids or the proposals, excuse me, and evaluate the proposals and rank them as far as which one's most qualified for the project. After that most qualified proposal is selected, then city can negotiate with that highest ranked proposer to develop the scope of work and finalize a proposal price. That was the process that we used for this contract as well. We developed an RFP for contract number 2024-006 to update the 20-year wastewater facility plan for the treatment plant. We advertised it in 11 different plan centers in Oregon and Washington. So we've widely reached out to try to get proposals. And at the end, 2 proposals were received. One of those was from Jacobs and one was from Consor North America. Both of these firms have extensive experience doing municipal water and wastewater master planning, and both of these firms have done master plans for this city. The proposals were reviewed by an evaluation committee of 5 public works employees. We ultimately ended up evaluating both the written proposals and inviting the firms to come in and present interviews. After the interviews, the evaluation committee was unanimous in its ranking of the proposal from Consor as being the most qualified for this city contract. Consor is the same company that just completed the update to the city's water master plan. We've developed a scope of work for the project that includes the tasks that are normally undertaken in a master planning effort, such as 20-year population and wastewater treatment demand projections, wastewater treatment system condition and capacity evaluations, and evaluation of treatment processes, regulatory requirement projections, developing a 20-year capital improvement plan, and then a wastewater rates and SDC, or system development charge assessment and recommendations. The proposed price to provide those services was $646,692. There is a potential regulatory challenge on the horizon for the treatment plant that relates to the temperature of its treated wastewater to the Columbia River. The city has historically managed this challenge through the issuance of our discharge permit that are issued to industries within the community. But the regulations related to temperature are changing. And so the proposal included two optional tasks that if the evaluation that's done under the regulatory compliance evaluation indicates that there might be a problem or a challenge for the city and to comply with the future temperature regulations, two optional tasks have been included in the proposal to help the city address those challenges. Those additional tasks include the completion of a thermal impacts analysis and the development of a thermal trading plan, which could be a strategy to comply with future temperature regulations. The cost of these two alternative tasks was $107,196. And those tasks would only be undertaken if the earlier analysis done as part of the base scope of work identified that there could be a problem for the city. In Fund 57, which is a sewer plant construction and debt service fund, we had allocated $650,000 for this project. The proposed cost of the base scope of work was $646,692, which is within that budgeted amount. The total cost of the project with the optional tasks would be $753,888, which is $103,888 more than we had budgeted. However, also within the capital Fund 57, we have $6.5 million that are budgeted for future wastewater treatment plant projects. And it's appropriate to use these capital project funds for the development of a master plan that identifies the future capital projects. With use of the capital projects funds, there are adequate funds available for the contract, including the optional tasks. With that, it's staff's recommendation that the City Council move to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Consor North America in an amount not to exceed $753,888 for contract number 2024-006, the wastewater facility master plan update project, including the optional tasks 7.6 and 7.7. With that, I would entertain any questions.
Questions for our Public Works Director? Could you remind me, where is Consor from? Are they from Portland?
They have offices in Portland, yeah.
Okay, but they're a nationwide.
They are, I believe, even a worldwide company, but certainly throughout North America.
And how does the, again, refresh my memory, compare the cost of this to the water master plan that we did?
We were right there at about the same amount. I think we were $740,000 for the water master plan.
Okay.
We actually took the same approach. There was an optional task identified in the water master plan that was only to be undertaken if we identified the need for it, and we went ahead and authorized an amount that will allow that to move forward. We did with the water master plan identify the need to do that additional task. But we, like I say, we took a similar approach to what we're suggesting here.
Any other questions? Councilor Richardson.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Anderson, Dave, what's the time frame for completion of the study?
18 months.
All right. And do we expect a similar level of complexity? And I'm thinking of the recent water plan. Do we expect a similar level of complexity sort of comparable to that?
Yeah, probably a little bit less effort on the demand on we had to spend on the water side a lot of analysis around potential sources of supply. That's not really the issue here. The community is our source of supply. But we are going to spend a lot of energy and effort analyzing the treatment processes, both for the liquid streams and the solid streams at the plant. And we will be looking at the structural integrity of the plant. If we were to jump ahead and ask the question, do we expect a capital improvement plan of the same magnitude? I would expect not to. And the reason is we don't have 8 miles of pipeline between the treatment plant in the city like we do for the water treatment plant. And we don't have a dam that would be part of a capital improvement plan. With that said, just because we don't have those types of expensive projects, I would expect there will be a significant capital improvement plan to come out of this effort as well.
All right, thank you very much.
Anybody else? Anybody like to make a motion?
Mr. Mayor, make a motion to move to authorize the city manager to enter into contract with Consor North America in an amount not to exceed $753,888 for contract number 2024-006, the wastewater facilities master plan update project, including optional tasks 7.6 and 7.7.
I'll second.
It's been moved by Council Ring and seconded by Council Richardson to enter into a contract with Consor North America to complete our wastewater facilities master plan. Is there any other questions or comments? All those in favor, please say aye or raise your hand.
Aye.
McLaughlin, aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much. Okay, the City Council of the City of the Dalles will now meet in executive session in accordance with ORS 192.6602H to consult with counsel concerning the legal rights and duties of a public body with regard to current litigation or litigation about to be filed. Representatives of the news media and designated staff shall be allowed to attend the executive session. All other members of the audience are asked to leave the room. Representatives of the news media are specifically directed not to report on or otherwise disclose any of the deliberations or anything said about these subjects during the executive session except to state the general subject of the session as previously announced. No final decision may be made in executive session. At the end of the executive session, we will return to open session and welcome the audience back into the room. We expect to return in open session in about 20 to 25 minutes.